right, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here, your 17th favorite crypto YouTuber. And one of these days, I'm hoping to be your 16th favorite. So, you kind of have to watch them in order, and sooner or later, you'll get to mine. But when I'm 16th, man, that's going to be the day. And I'll tell you what, I got a whole bunch of good news for you. Welcome, back to the channel, all that good stuff. We're here to talk about EOS and its super pump. But before we get into that, I would like to thank a donator to the channel who gave me a nice generous 0.25 Litecoin from T. Finnock. And if I said your name wrong, I apologize. However, my name gets destroyed on a daily basis as well. My last name is 13 letters, so I understand your pain, So let's move on and talk about the EOS Pump. EOS Pump's following the EOS IO 1.0 release, the mainnet release, the 50 million fund announcement. Taking a look at CoinMarketCap here, we can see it is the absolute, without a doubt, winner of the day, if you will, and possibly for several days. Who knows how long it will last. With a pump like that, I am expecting a price drop here sometime soon, but I would love to be proven wrong. So we're at $15.55 every time I look at CoinMarketCap today, or the price in EOS in general. It is up like 20 more cents than the last time I looked at it. So I will actually refresh this at the end of the video, and we'll see how much it rose. So at long last, Block 1, an open source software publisher specializing in high performance blockchain technologies, has released version 1 of its open source EOS blockchain software. A platform purportedly affords business the ability to quickly and efficiently construct and deploy high performance and high security blockchain based applications. So the core features are free, limited transactions, low latency blockchain, low overhead Byzantine fault tolerant finality, optional high overhead, low latency finality, because we got to have that low and high, designed for smart contract platform, designed for sparse header light client validation, scheduling recurring transactions, time delay security, hierarchical role-based permissions, support for biometric hardware security, keys, parallel execution of context, free validation logic, inter-blockchain communication. So if that doesn't mean a lot to most of you, that's okay. The price is pumping. Yay! So at this time of this writing, EOS is trading at 14.10 exactly. So this was written probably just hours ago at 8 a.m. So for me, that was like 4 or 5 hours ago. And we're already up well over $1 past that. So moving on here to a somewhat questionable article. Rather, they're questioning the pump, that is. So EOS price pumps after mainnet release, but this rally's not quite organic. EOS price rallied 16% on Saturday, following the release of the blockchain project's open source mainnet software, but there are more to this pump than meets the eye. So EOS price makes a market-leading 16% rally, and that was when it was 16%, and now it's almost 30%. So it is rallying indeed. EOS spent most of the day trading just over $12 mark, but began to surge at approximately 6:15 on Saturday morning. Within hours, the EOS price had peaked above 1440 on Bitfinex, though it has since declined to a present value of 1407, and then simply rose after that. So again, article's a little bit old, and old in the crypto world is like 5 hours. So EOS now has a market cap of 12.5 billion. Let's see what it's at now, what it says it's at. 13.9 billion, so quite the difference within a few hours. So now it's 4th ranked Bitcoin Cash, well, 5th, just behind Bitcoin Cash rather. Somewhat remarkably, EOS is actually priced at a discount on South Korean exchanges, which is a general rule force local investors to pay a premium. Volume is well distributed, with no single trading pair accounting for more than 13% of the token's global volume or trading venue accounting for more than 20%. So prices are pretty even. The clear impetus for the rally was the formal release of the mainnet, which development company Block 1 shipped this morning at the conclusion of its year-long $4 billion ICO. If only, right? Until now, EOS tokens have been structured as ERC20 tokens and have run on the Ethereum network, meaning that the users must transfer their tokens to the coin's independent blockchain. And during this complicated process, token balances held in ERC20 wallets have been locked, and exchanges have frozen deposits and withdrawals. And I had somebody ask a question on the channel, well, if they're frozen, then how can you trade on an exchange? And that's because exchanges are really done off the chain, and they're just essentially crediting you. So when you trade, like $10 and you get $10 of Bitcoin, you really don't have that Bitcoin until you actually transfer it out. It just essentially credits you with that Bitcoin. It says, yes, you have $10 in Bitcoin until, when you transfer it out, then it's really yours. So they, even if something is frozen like that, you could still be trading it. Until now, EOS has been structured as a ERC20 and have run on the Ethereum network, meaning that users must transfer their tokens. Already read that. Amazing. Let's just skip a little bit. For example, an early EOS investor who would ordinarily consider selling tokens at 14 may not be able to do so since they cannot currently deposit EOS on an exchange. However, again, if you had them on an exchange already, you could be trading them. In essence, the reduced EOS supply will translate into increased price volatility until the nascent EOS Mainnet achieves stability. Notably, Block 1 has said it will not launch an EOS Mainnet, nor will it commit to continuing the development of software beyond the current release. Consequently, it is expected that there will be several networks claiming to be the EOS network. EOS. I always say either EOS or EOS. It's EOS, but don't mind me. It could be sometime before a clear winner emerges. So a little bit of an interesting last paragraph there. That a lot of networks are going to be claiming to be the mainnet. So that's why I just threw mine on an exchange. I understand, registering and stuff, you get airdrops, but I'm not really concerned with a $3 airdrop in an Ethereum wallet. And then what am I going to do with the $3 airdrop? I can't really even put that on an exchange. So I just really, honestly, I don't really care. I could go without them. So let's just go ahead and do a refresh here. We're at 1555. Ooh, 1491. Boom. Received a big downfall there. In that time. So nail-biting suspense here. And if you notice, there may be a gigantic mess behind me today, at least more so than usual. I have taken away my child's playpen in the back there because he's way too big for it, and it's completely useless, and he just jumps right out of it. So sooner or later, that will probably look a little bit better. But if you have kids, you understand. So early Bitcoin developer recounts weird interactions with Satoshi. So this is kind of interesting. Laszlo, a developer who worked on Bitcoin as early as 2010, has discussed his interaction with the pseudo-anonymous creator of Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto. Mr. Laszlo describes his dealings with Satoshi as being kind of weird. So Mr. Laszlo, a programmer known in the Bitcoin world for paying a man from BitcoinTalk.org 10,000 Bitcoin to order him 2 pizzas from Papa John's in 2010, discussed his personal interactions with Satoshi Nakamoto in a recent interview. After mining Bitcoins on his laptop for some time, Mr. Laszlo, if we could only mine Bitcoin on our laptops now, right? I mean, that just goes to show the difference between the difficulty now and then. If you tried to mine Bitcoin, even on GPUs, even on like 1080 Ti's, you'd get nothing. I think you'd literally probably get like maybe 20 cents a Bitcoin a day. I'm not sure. I'll actually maybe in another episode I will show you guys the hash rate of SHA-256 on a 1080 Ti and what that would make you every day. Just to be quite frank, it's not going to be a lot. So Mr. Laszlo reached out to Satoshi to express his desire to contribute to the development of Bitcoin. I thought Bitcoin was awesome and I wanted to be involved, but I had a regular developing job. So Laszlo said, Nakamoto would send me emails like, hey, can you fix this bug? Hey, can you do this? So despite his enthusiasm for Bitcoin, Laszlo saw his contributions to the crypto currency as a side project of secondary importance to his career and felt as though Satoshi had unrealistic expectations of his involvement. He'd say, hey, the west side's down, or we have these bugs, we need to fix this. I'd be like, we're not a team, Laszlo said. I thought it was approval from him that maybe he accepted me as a member, but I didn't want the responsibility. I didn't really understand all the forces that were going on at the time. So Mr. Laszlo would express his dissatisfaction, recounting that he would say, hey, you're not my boss, despite the irritation. Laszlo states that he didn't take it too seriously. Laszlo describes the majority of his interactions with Bitcoin's creator to be kind of weird, Laszlo found Satoshi to be paranoid in many of their exchanges, stating, "There were a few times when I got messages that seemed off base. I brushed them off because I was like, who cares if this guy tells me to go pound sand and go away? This wasn't my job or anything, it was a hobby. I was trying to be friends with him. He seemed very paranoid about people breaking the software. He kept calling it pre-release, and I was helping him to get it released." Looking back, Laszlo can empathize with Satoshi's apparent paranoia, stating that if anything had happened to the code early on, we wouldn't be having this conversation today. So let me just take a drink. Since Coca-Cola refuses to partner with MrSotko, greatest cryptocurrency YouTuber of all time, with my 2 million subscribers. Polar Pop. Circle K. Where else could you get such a refreshing cold drink on such a hot day in Arizona for just 99 cents? According to Mr. Laszlo, Satoshi Nakamoto was aware of the potential for mining to lead to centralization in Bitcoin ownership, stating that Satoshi told him, "Well, I'd rather not have you do the mining too much." Laszlo stated that Satoshi was trying to grow the community and get more commerce use cases. He fully recognized that mining would become a thing where a few people would get wealthy. Laszlo also stated that Satoshi was careful to maintain anonymity, stating, "He or she, or whoever it was, never told me to do anything personal, or never told me anything personal. I asked a few questions, but he always dodged them. Those questions never got answered." So Satoshi Nakamoto, it is such a mystery. It is the world mystery. It is something that I think will be in documentary. Well, it already is, but I think will be in future documentaries and YouTube videos and things like that of like top 10 world mysteries. You know, like of people being missing on boats. You know, and the whole crew is missing, and then they came and found it, and there's this missing boat in the middle of Atlantic. You know, those mystery cases that have never been solved throughout history. And I think Satoshi Nakamoto will be one of them. I personally believe that Satoshi Nakamoto was probably a few people. There was likely some kind of team, and they decided to make their name Satoshi Nakamoto for some reason. It could have been, God, I can never remember that guy's name. I always forget it. And I'll remember it as soon as the video is over. I'll look it up, and so I know like 14 people will say the name. And you probably should, so everybody watching this video will know. But there was a man who received the very first Bitcoin, and I think later he ended up passing away from, I believe, Lou Gehrig's disease, something like that. It could be him. It's definitely not Craig White, I mean, who the Australian guy. However, Satoshi Nakamoto often had a lot of British or Australian, that sort of English slang in his emails. So he could have been just some kind of cover by saying like bloody a lot and things that just Americans just don't say, nor Asians. So it's a huge mystery, and I wonder when it will be solved and what will happen if it is solved. You know, if we know the man who created it, what will happen to that person? Because we will know that person, and Satoshi Nakamoto supposedly has many, many wallets filled with Bitcoin, something near a million Bitcoin. Some say it's about 1.3 or 1.2. Some say a little bit less, like 800 or 900,000 Bitcoin. But definitely like the most Bitcoin of anybody. And those wallets have been dormant since Bitcoin's development. So whoever made those wallets and whoever mined to those has no interest in selling them or moving them. And it leads me to believe that they had no interest in it, and that those were the original, and they were probably mining and like letting it build up in the wallet for research and development purposes. And they say, okay, this is working. Let's make a new wallet and let's see if it works when it deposits to a new wallet. And then it works, and they're like, okay, let's try it again. This, that, and the other thing. So it's a big mystery, and I'm just so intrigued as to who Satoshi Nakamoto is. I think if we figured it out who it was, it will either likely be a few people, a team of people, or it'll likely be a little bit disappointing, and we'll be like, oh well, it was that guy who passed away, who received the first Bitcoin, and now we can't really ask him any questions as to what happened. So Bitcoin gets first Lightning Network wallet app on Android. So the release called simply Lightning Wallet incorporates a fully operational Lightning node, providing for both on-chain Bitcoin and off-chain Lightning Network transactions. Users will be able to take advantage of the increasingly well-populated network benefits, including near instant sending and receiving of Bitcoin via dedicated channels for fees of less than 1 Satoshi, Bitcoin's smallest unit, which is not a lot. The app has received 6 positive 5-star user reviews so far. So I wouldn't go out and get this wallet just yet. I would definitely avoid getting this wallet, but it is interesting. If it turns out to be true, then it will be really easy for you to transfer Bitcoin around and actually spend it. Like if you go out to the bar and you want to tip or you want to pay your tab, this is the way to do it. Last year, and the years before that, Bitcoin is extremely slow, and so like paying your bar tab of $20 or $30 for the night ended up resulting in a $5 fee or more. And then you would have to wait around for 45 minutes for the bartender to actually be like, okay, I got my money, you're good to go. But this could turn that tide and actually make Bitcoin a much more usable currency. So it's crucial to understand that Lightning Wallet is a completely standalone app. It is not a thin client to some centralized service. The wallet subscription to potential users reads, this most importantly means that your money is stored right on your phone and nowhere else, which gives you the ultimate censorship resistance. No one can freeze your account or cancel your transactions, but at the same time, this makes you the only one responsible for securing your funds. So as Bitcoinist has reported throughout 2018, since Lightning Network's mainnet release, both support and adoption have been brisk, despite the underlying technology remaining in an experimental phase. While the potential for funds to go missing due to technical inconsistencies remain, Lightning Network developers claim they have mitigated such risks using a mnemonic passphrase setup. The first Lightning wallet on the market, which offers chain data loss protection in case of emergencies such as phone loss. You will only need a mnemonic phrase to recover both on-chain Bitcoin balance and off-chain Lightning balance. So in April, Lightning passed the symbolic adoption of 2,000 nodes with over 6,000 channels currently open, handling a network capacity of over 160,000. Various consumer tools have gone live, while payment processor CoinGate recently announced it had pivoted to add compatibility for merchants. Although it's still in its early stages and more suited to advanced technical users, Lightning Network was without a doubt the most awaited upgrade on the Bitcoin network. So this is true, more suited to advanced technical users, because if you've ever gone to the Bitcoin Reddit or even Googled it, how to make a Bitcoin Lightning Network node, good luck. Not like it's impossible, but you got some directions to follow. Can you bake a cake? Maybe you can do Lightning Network. So, so the last article we have, just before that, I would like to say that, once again, that I will most likely be at, isn't set in stone just yet, but it's most likely going to be the case, that I will be at E3. In case anybody doesn't know what E3 is and you've been maybe living on the moon or Mars, first of all, I would like to ask you how it is living out there. But E3 is the biggest gaming conference in the world every year, I would say. And that's where all the new trailers come out. Like the new Fallout 76 gameplay is going to be coming out there, things like that. That's where they always announce like the new PlayStation 3 and the new PlayStation 4 and that sort of thing. So I'll be walking around there, and I will probably be live streaming. So if you happen to come across my channel on June 12th, 13th, 14th, because it goes on for 3 days, and you happen to see me live, come check in and say hi. So I'll probably just be walking around with my phone, so it probably won't be the best quality, and it might be loud and be people walking around, but I'll show you guys some things. I'll try to film some things. I'll try to document it and then upload it to my channel. I know you guys aren't here necessarily for gaming, but, it might be pretty cool. And, I'm there to talk about crypto, and I'm there to talk about gaming at the same time. So, maybe I can give you guys some cool information on that. So make sure you check in to the channel and say hi. Feel free to log into the live stream and say hello when that happens. So the anonymous team, or the Anon team, has spent endless hours attending and networking at conference from Miami to New York, Berlin with Tokyo, Seoul, Paris still remaining. Development team has met with developers from the most notorious privacy coins and continues to be ahead of schedule for a September 10th fork date. They remain ahead of schedule, and Anon will proudly announce one of the first deadlines in cryptocurrency history that will be moved forward. So Anonymous Bitcoin. Today, Anon is excited to share our white paper. So a few major highlights include All anonymous Anon unclaimed by January 1st will be burned. Excuse me. This will be dramatically reduce the circulating supply associated with unaware wallets, unaware individuals' exchanges along with Satoshi and Mt. Gox wallets. Interesting. So Anon will be provided in a 1-to-1 ratio for each Bitcoin and Z Classic held at the time of the snapshot. So if you own 2.4 Bitcoin and 8 Z Classic, you will own 10.4 Anon. So that's kind of interesting. So, I wonder how much what the price of this coin is going to be because, well, if it was just 1-to-1 with Bitcoin, it should be kind of expensive. At least a few $100s or so, but then 1-to-1 with Z Classic will bring that price down. So kind of an interesting, an interesting fork. A trust managing a cryptocurrency wallet funded by both Anon team members and general public, starting at 100,000 in Z Classic, will be made public. Spending on the wallet will be determined by the masternode voting. Anon's development team will be contracted for a year of post-fork blockchain support. This will allow for continued development and maintenance of the Anon blockchain. The Anon Trust will not be used for these expenses as the commitment has already been solidified. Testnets will be live approximately a month before the September 10th snapshot. So the snapshot is going to be on the 10th of September. So you need to have all your Z Classic and your Bitcoin by then. Exchanges announced will occur by mid-August as the most important exchanges monitor testnets as well as to ensure security. So by close to September 10th, probably at the end of August and very early September, I think Z Classic and Bitcoin will be rising in price as people will be taking their altcoins and buying those, even though Z Classic is technically an altcoin. Will be taking their other altcoins and buying Bitcoin and buying Z Classic to get their ratio of Z Classic. And I would assume that the most efficient way to do this, if you wanted your Anon Bitcoin, would be to just buy Z Classic, because you're going to get way more Z Classic for your money. So right now, you'd have to pay $7,600 for one Bitcoin to get one Anon. However, if you paid, let's actually see Z Classic here. Z Classic is only $13, so you could get hundreds and hundreds of Anon for the same price as one Bitcoin. So yeah, so Z Classic will actually probably pump while people hold it for a while. Maybe not too much. Depending on how excited people are about this, and this just seems like yet another altcoin that probably won't go too far. Excuse me, I'm just all I get probably this Polar Pop 99 cents circle case check. So it probably won't go too far, but getting forked coins is always nice. And then whether you sell them or you hold them, it's always nice to have. So hopefully the white paper impressed you. Please provide feedback as we are open to the community in implementation much of what we are requested to. We stumbled upon Mr. New Nur while attending our first conference in Miami, and has since solidified a strong relationship. While the Anon team saw Ran at Consensus, he explicitly stated we had no big news and was uninterested in a follow-up until we had our white paper out or major news. Well, a few weeks later in Berlin, Ran saw our founder discuss ASIC resistance with the Z Classic community dev right as the white paper was being released, having had multiple interactions with having been provided plenty of words of wisdom. The Anon team decided Ran was the perfect fit. His expertise in the crypto field is endless, and moving forward, we look forward to all the talents and wisdom he can bestow on the Anon team. Anon will regularly seek his advice and guidance throughout the course of the future, with advisors like New, with Ran, whatever. Anon is positioning itself to become one of the top cryptocurrencies, privacy coins, and most publicized projects of the summer of 2018. So this month in July, June and July, is still packed with excitement as we bring our new advisors and attend conferences on 3 continents. The website has been translated into many different languages, and now is the time to build the Anon community. Anon's lead developers will be speaking at colleges across the country from Miami to MIT. Yes, that MIT. Stay tuned for more videos on of the team transparency showing what it takes to build a cryptocurrency and community from the ground up. So we stumbled upon Mr. New, one of the top 20 influencers in crypto. Man, I thought I was one of the top influencers. I'm just kidding. Of course, I am the 17th, right? So what is Mr. New? He's probably the 20th. Come on. Anyway, let's move on to CoinMarketCap. Check it out. We're at 343 billion market cap. Everything is kind of going up. We see a lot of green. So again, the winner of the day is EOS, at 22.20%. It went down, obviously. We were nearly at 30, and we're now at 14.81 cents. And really, this honestly makes sense to me. Like the price went up way too fast. And if you look at it at a further snapshot, you can see it just went way too fast, and it's going to go down a little bit. How long it's going to go down, I'm not sure. Will it go back up? Not sure. But you know, keep an eye on your EOS and keep on trading. So Bitcoin at 7,600, which is not too amazing. It's up 2.6% today. So as you can see, you could generally make a lot more money just simply day trading some of the other altcoins as opposed to that. Let's check out any losers of the day. Only 4 losers of the day: Skycoin, Huobi token, Wakey chain, and Theta token. So doing pretty good. Let's go to the next 100. Why not? So winner of the day is Dropbill, only at 15%. Historic of the loser there. Next 100, 54% for Steam. Steam way up. And Litecoin Cash way down. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And as usual, I will see you guys next time.